Welcome to the Geeks Attic. This is a review of Star Wars Dr. Aphra, the audio drama. Star Wars Dr. Aphra, the audio drama was written by Sarah Kuhn. It's a production of Del Rey and Penguin Random House Audio. It's got a full cast of characters and cast members that do make an appearance in this story. Now I've got my notes over here to the side to give you a full spoiler overview of the entire audio drama. Now, as of now, this is not available in hardcover or paperback. Maybe eventually they'll do that like they did with the previous audio drama, Dooku Jedi Lost. But for now, it's exclusively an audio drama. So let's go ahead and dive into these notes and get an overview of the entire story. This story is narrated by Dr. Aphra. She's putting this on a recording for someone to listen to later on down the road. Who that person is, we'll get to that later on as the story progresses. So it starts off with Dr. Aphra introducing herself as a dead girl. She is in the middle of a battle with a pirate, and that pirate would be Maz Kanata. Now, Aphra has stolen some items from Maz, antique micro-droid dust, and some outdated droid parts. Well, obviously, Aphra escapes. She heads off to another location to break into a vault to steal the 000 personality matrix on Quarantine World 3 in the Chaldean system. The 000 personality matrix is extremely dangerous. It's been locked away on Quarantine World 3 for centuries. Aphra's caught and questioned. She says that she's not stealing, she's liberating. Silly. But Vader actually comes to the rescue and hires her for a job. Yeah, he found some of her reactivated droids, was impressed by them, and now he has a job for Aphra. Aphra finds Vader a little bit silly at first, meaning his suit, he looks goofy, not very stylish. She's not intimidated by him yet. Vader helps Aphra crack a code that puts the personality matrix inside a protocol droid that Aphra had previously liberated. After Vader successfully cracks the code to put the matrix inside the protocol droid, Dr. Aphra's first order to 000, that's what she names the protocol droid, is to activate the assassin blastromech droid, BT-1. The blastromech droid comes to life, ready to kill all in sight, but Aphra calls on Trip, that's the nickname she gives 000, to talk the blastromech droid down. Now, Aphra was supposed to deliver the droids to the droid Gatra, but now Vader is hiring her to build up his own secret army. Aphra's mental commentary reveals that rumors throughout the galaxy have spread, and that Vader has been demoted after the destruction of the Death Star. Now we're going to jump back in time for a brief flashback. It's pretty short. All the flashbacks are actually pretty brief in this story, but it all usually takes place when she's a student in archaeological school, and this flashback is actually when she first sees Sana Starros and finds her attractive. And then we jump back into current time. Vader and Aphra head off to Geonosis so Vader can acquire some droids. Battle droids. Aphra notices a subtle change in the way Vader holds himself on Geonosis, but doesn't know why. The group makes their way down to the old Geonosian Hive Queen. That's great. Everything else is dead. It's a sterile planet. When they find the Hive Queen, there's slimy, glowing eggs all around her. This doesn't make any sense to me. The Queen is sterile, unable to produce any organic beings, but somehow has droid baby eggs. Vader attacks the Queen, and then a bunch of winged droid babies start attacking. Yes, these droids have wings. The assassin droids BT-1 and 000 are in the fight, and they manage to blast a hole in the roof of the cave that they're in, so that Aphra can call in her ship, the Archangel, to hoist out the Queen's mechanical womb. Well, it's not Aphra's ship that shows up, it's one of Vader's, and they successfully take out that mechanical womb away from the Queen, and the Queen's all shouting in anger and rage. Then there's a brief flashback again with Aphra and Sana Starros, and then we jump back forward again in the timeline to where we currently are with Fett, who comes in on a call, and Aphra answers it while Vader's not around. The eye roll that I had made me dizzy. Honestly, guys. Fett was trying to reach Vader and says over the comm, "This is an encrypted call. The imps won't hear us." Okay. Aphra manages to threaten Fett with blackmail. It's a powerful tool. Fett actually caves. He spills the beans. Tells Aphra exactly what it is that Vader has been hunting and what he found. And that would be the boy that destroyed the Death Star, Luke Skywalker. And then we go back in time to another flashback with Aphra talking about her parents. They split up. Her father was obsessed with searching down Jedi artifacts, and he's the reason, really, why she became an archaeologist. Then we go back in time, or to the future, back to the future, where the time is now. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That was dumb. Ignore that. Back to Vader and Aphra. Okay? The relationship between the two just doesn't make much sense. Vader, we know from the films, would not deal with Aphra's personality. She's nonsense. She's highly annoying. She talks too much. Pushes all of Vader's buttons, and he just takes it, which I don't think he would in the film. Boba Fett does tell Vader that he saw Luke Skywalker on Tatooine, so Vader and Aphra go to Tatooine, to the Lars homestead, do a little bit of, looking around. Then they go to Ben Kenobi, Obi-Wan Kenobi's old little hut there on Tatooine, and find nothing. So before they leave, Aphra blows up Kenobi's little hut. So that's kind of sad. We also learned that Boba Fett was bested by Luke. They fought whenever Boba Fett found Luke, and beat up Boba Fett. There's a moment there on Tatooine when Aphra hears Vader talking to himself, and I thought that was a little odd and out of character for Vader. And then, yay, more flashbacks when Sana Starros introduces herself to Aphra after Aphra was doing some stupid stunts outside of her college. Before Starros could finish talking to Aphra, she was interrupted by Aphra kissing her. Okay. Alright, we're done with the flashback. Now we're back with Aphra, sitting alone in a dingy bar, waiting for her new crew to show up for a new job. She's done with Vader for now. She's waiting for IG-90, Bosk, and a little guy named B-Box. Now they go into a fighting ring, area where Black Chrysanthemum, a big black Wookiee with a big scar on his face, is fighting in a ring. It's a fight to the death, and, well, after Black Chrysanthemum kills the guy, they all go out for a little drink. And that's where Aphra would like to discuss a job. The Empire has shut down this criminal organization on Santul. Actually, it's a competitor of the Hutts. The Santul Pride is what they're called. They had a large fortune. Now it's being transferred to an Imperial vault. Aphra knows exactly where to retrieve it, where this vault's at. Turns out Vader is the one who gave her all the intel on the operation as payment for her assistance in acquiring that mechanical womb from the Geonosian Queen, and I guess her companionship on the trip to Tatooine. But Aphra actually says it best in this tale as she's narrating this story. She says, "Don't you trust me to actually scratch that? You totally shouldn't trust me. You shouldn't even trust me to tell my own story right." Well, that right there brings a little comfort to me, so I could determine, well, I guess this part isn't canon, and maybe this part is canon, all the Vader stuff, maybe. Oh, Vader's just going to put up with her nonsense? Could be all just nonsense. Should probably get back to the main story points here. Aphra and her crew do break into the vault. They blast their way in from the outside of the vault, which is out in space. So the credit ingots that they're trying to get also get blasted out into space. The crew's upset with Aphra because they don't really actually get much payment from it. All those credits just blasted out into space, into the darkness among the stars. While the crew's off doing something else, Aphra pulls aside Black Chrysanthemum, which she likes to call Santy, whatever. She pulls him aside and asks if he would like to help collect the credits that are floating out in space. And she also secretly says, hey, we can set aside some extra credits for you and I, kind of screwing over the rest of the crew. So, after that, we jump ahead to after the riches have been collected. Dr. Aphra meets with Darth Vader once again, and she asks Vader if he could do a favor for her and hunt down the folks that enslaved Black Chrysanthemum, because he holds a grudge against them, and cause a little bodily harm to those folks. And Vader just kind of shrugs it off and was like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. And then he asks her to hunt down someone for him. So, now, she's a bounty hunter, apparently. Vader tells her that if he doesn't hear from her within a month, no intel on what's going on, where she's at, he's going to hunt her down and kill her. She is to hunt down a guy named Comodex. Vader gives her an encrypted data chip with the information on how to find the guy. So Aphra heads off to Anthan Prime, to a floating city where a lot of wealthy folks like to spend a lot of their time. Here she meets a guy called the Ante, who is actually able to unlock that data chip. He breaks the code, gets all the details off that she needs. Well, it turns out she needs to go find this guy, Comodex, in Naboo, who is a mortician. So, she's trying to put pieces together in her head and find out what's going on with Vader. So Aphra, she gathers 000 and BT to go find Commodex and torture him and find out more about what the deal is. So Aphra and her droids do go to Naboo, they do find Commodex, and they do torture him. Well, Aphra's kind of wandering around his living quarters, finds this little message from an old queen of Naboo. She listens to it, and that conversation is really silly. Yeah, this guy was a mortician. He worked on Padme's body, embalming her and getting her funeral ready. So here's the silly stuff, okay? In the message, Padme tells Commodex she's going on a mission. She may not return. She may die. She also says that if she dies, she wants the unborn child kept safe. Wait. If you die, the unborn child is going to die too, right? Isn't that how life works? Unless you're have a certain amount of time to get the baby out, odds are baby's going to die too. So especially if you're gone on a mission somewhere, you don't return, and you die, getting your body back in time, no one's going to be able to take care of a baby and save a baby if you're dead before you're able to give birth to it. So, wow. So Commodex was tortured. He talks a little bit about Padme, plus Aphra found the message from Padme, so there it is. It's oh, okay, here's this lady who's important, and her baby, it's got to be important. Commodex also says that, hey, there is one child that's out there. That's it. So he doesn't say that there's twins, which, that's neat. Padme was buried. Looks like she was pregnant to hide that maybe some baby is out there that could possibly be a threat to this rising empire. I guess that's some detective work right there from Aphra and the assassin droids. Well, anyway, we move on to the Empire, not forgetting about the Sontul treasure being stolen. So, to cover some loose ends, Vader is ready to kill Aphra. Just as he's about to kill her, she tells him she knows where Luke Skywalker is. Aphra is actually surprised by Vader's brutality. She's the only one. Everybody else fears the guy. She thought he was building a relationship with her, that they were working well together, that he could trust her. Well, realization of that one sunk in, and she realized this guy would not hesitate to kill Aphra at all. He doesn't care about her. About time she figured that out. Darth Vader shows mercy and lets Aphra live another day. She knows where Luke's at. He says where. She says Rogus Voss. So that's where Darth Vader goes. He heads off to Rogus Voss to find Luke. Well, when he arrives, there are 3 rebel squadrons there. And then he's really ticked off and asks Aphra over the comm. He says, hey, you setting me up? You betraying me? You're going to regret this. It's not going to be good for you. And she assures him, hey, I did not send you into a trap. I promise. So we have some time that passes where Aphra's waiting for Vader. No communication. So she determines that Vader's been shot down. So, here we are. Enter the Marvel Comics, Vader down. She calls on her pal, Black Chrysanthemum, or Santi, as she says, to meet over on Rogus Voss. And there she wants to prove her loyalty to Vader, show him that that she did not betray him, and maybe go ahead and try to find Luke Skywalker herself and bring him to Vader with a little help from Black Chrysanthemum and her assassin droids. Aphra is on Rogus Voss now, and she has pinpointed Skywalker's location. She sends her droid 000 disguised as C-3PO and successfully stuns Luke. So 000 was able to disguise himself as C-3PO and trick Luke. BT, Trip, and Aphra attempt to leave with Luke. Han Solo appears out of nowhere, stops them. Chewbacca comes out of nowhere and rips off one of the 000's arms, and then 000 uses his other arm to inject Chewie with a sedative, knocking out Chewie. So now Chewie's out of the picture. Han and Aphra both shoot at each other, above each other, at some hive worms, the wasp worms, they're called. Shoots the hive of wasp worms. These hives fall down on their heads. Obviously, very comical. Well, now they're running around. They run straight into each other, knocking each other out, panicking, trying to get these wasp worms off of their bodies. So they're out cold. Luke wakes up and uses his lightsaber to chop off Trip's other arm. I keep wanting to say 000, but also say Trip at the same time. So just Trip. Luke cuts off Trip's other arm, so now you got 000 with no arms, just kind of wobbling around. And somehow Aphra wakes up on her ship, the Archangel. She jumps up, gets on a little computer, types in some stuff, and learns that Imperial forces have arrived on Rogus Voss. And included in this Imperial force unit is a Mon Calamari cyborg named Carbon, who turns out to be a rival of Darth Vader, and is also searching for Luke Skywalker. So when Aphra finds Carbon's ship, she discovers that Luke has been captured by Carbon, and Carbon is currently fighting Darth Vader in a lightsaber duel. Now, things got a little bit weird because the story pauses, there's a little bit of a silence, and it's like Aphra, this whole time Aphra's telling the story, and she's like, oh, stop recording, gathers herself up, and then hits play or record again and starts telling the story over. It was just like a weird, awkward little moment. But she gets back to her story. She uses her ship to crush Carbon and uses her ejector seat to bail as her ship crashes down on the guy. And still, I have a hard time picturing all this stuff because she crashes her ship on the guy. Okay, she's crushing Carbon with her spaceship. But also, Vader is the one that kills the guy after the ship has crashed on Carbon. Yet that pause was explained, this part, because it's like she got emotional over losing her ship. She really loved that ship. It was modified to her specifications. Carbon, now defeated. Vader and Aphra have some words with each other. She tries to get Vader to spill more information on who Luke Skywalker is. I really don't like how Vader reacts, to be honest with you. It was really very untrue to the character. He goes into this little whiny rage fit, saying stuff like, I am Darth Vader, I've commanded legions, destroyed entire systems, blah, blah, blah. So then he just sends her away. He's pissed. He sends her away to go find the boy. Now Aphra's just walking across the desert when she sees her old pal Santi show up with her droids. Skywalker and the rebels are still on the planet, she's learned. But the last time she saw Luke was on Carbon's ship. So Aphra, she's doing her walk with her buddies, and they discover the rebels' ship, which is the Millennium Falcon. Well, no one's there because they're all out looking for their friend Luke. So while everybody's gone, she spreads these little micro mines around the Falcon and waits for the rebels to show up. When they do, they have Luke. Aphra contacts Vader saying, hey, I'm with Luke. Suddenly, Leia appears and punches Aphra in the face. And then we cut to a different scene. Again, another scene change with Aphra waking up, this time in cuffs, and surprise, surprise, Santa Staros is there with the rebels, and this really surprises Dr. Aphra. Aphra escapes her cuffs, gets put back in them, breaks away from her cuffs, gets put back in them. Just a cycle that keeps continuing. But she is taken to a secret rebel prison located really close to a sun. It's called Sunspot Prison. We have more flashbacks with Santa Staros and Aphra, and how Aphra lied to her a long time ago. Then we get back to current time, arriving on Sunspot Prison. She's freed by Leia after these droids have located the prison and broken into it and start shooting up everybody. It was funny because it's like, not too long ago when she's getting booked into the prison, the guy's like, this place is impenetrable. Nobody can break in. Nobody knows where it's at. And now you got this droid army in there wrecking shop. But they are after an Imperial located in the prison. Turns out it's Aphra. And the leader says she needs to die. And Santa Staros immediately pulls a blaster on Aphra. She's ready to shoot her because of what happened long ago, being lied to. But Leia stops her from shooting Aphra. So Leia's like, we need her alive. I don't know why. The leader of this droid attack force reveals himself to Leia as Enib Ray. And that's when Aphra says out loud what everybody else is like, us are thinking. Are we supposed to know who that is? Well, let's just explain that Enib was a former rebel one of their best spies, so he was a rebel spy. But anyway, Sana Starros throws herself on Aphra and strangles her for a little bit before throwing her away, and Enid gets punched out by Leia. Alarms are going off, chaos is breaking out, everybody's trying to get out of this prison, the prison's being evacuated, and Aphra gets a little moment to escape from Leia and Sana Starros' grasp, but Leia catches up to Aphra at an escape pod. Aphra begs to be let go. Leia uses this opportunity to tell Aphra, hey, Darth Vader is extremely dangerous. You are nothing but a tool to him, and when he's done using you, you are disposable. You will be tossed aside. You will die. Here's the funny part. This is what blew my mind with how dumb this little thing was. Okay, she says, I put the quote here, sooner or later, he will kill you. And when that day comes and you somehow survive, look me up. He will kill you. And when that day comes when he kills you, and you somehow survive, look me up. What does that mean? I don't understand what that means. And then Sana Starros shows up, kicks Aphra in the gut, knocking her into the escape pod, and then slams her fist against the eject button. Aphra is now at a bar, sitting by herself, then chaos erupts outside. She has this fear that washes over her, thinking that the chaos outside has to do with her. Well, it did. It has to do with her. 000 and BT arrived. They were murdering folks in their path, causing destruction outside. Yes, Vader. Guys, Vader has given BT and Trip primary orders to capture Aphra and bring her to his ship, the Executor. So the droids take Aphra on Black Chrysanthemum's ship to the Executor, where Aphra says to 000, hey, primary order has been complete. Now I'm giving you a new primary objective, and that is to rescue me. So now 000 and BT have to get Aphra off of the Executor. This is where things get a little strange. BT uses a gas to sedate organics. It makes Aphra pass out. Later on, she wakes up confused. At this point, I'm confused too. I'm honest with you guys. I'm honest with all my reviews, everything that I do here. I had no idea what happened. I hit the rewind button several times to see, what am I missing? How does this make sense? None of it made sense to me. I don't know how it happened. I'm still confused. But when Aphra wakes up, like I said, she's confused. She's like, what is this? Where am I? She opens up a door to find Palpatine, the Emperor of the Galaxy, on a call with Vader. Okay? Palpatine is completely unaware of her entry into his private chamber. I need to calm myself down and just realize Aphra's telling this story. She's making this up. This didn't happen. It's not canon. She didn't really sneak into Palpatine's chambers and have conversations with him. That's just stupid. Emperor Palpatine's dumbfounded by this chaotic event that takes place in his chamber. He's just having a conversation with Darth Vader, then here comes some random girl who tells him, hey, I've got dirt on Darth Vader. Palpy, you should hear me out. He's been doing stuff behind your back, and I've been working for him. So Palpatine's like, okay, well, what you got? I'm all ears. To me, the story's just got stupid at this point. Darth Vader is summoned by Emperor Palpatine, and Palpatine gives him praise for doing the secret work, saying it's good that he followed his dark path. This is all unfolding in front of Dr. Aphra. This surprises her quite a bit. Vader is now to dispose of his little tool. Palpatine's like, all right, you did good. Now just please go get rid of her. So Vader takes her down a hallway. She's freaking out, pleading for her life. Don't kill me, Vader, don't kill me. So he takes her to an airlock. The one place she said in the beginning of the story when she runs into Vader, she says, hey, don't throw me out of an airlock or anything. That time when she's being real annoying, talking way too much, and Vader's kind of having a little conversation back with her. He takes her to an airlock, then ejects her into space. Should have used the lightsaber, but he didn't. Now, I have this suspicion that Vader knows that Aphra's going to survive this because at this point, he should know that her assassin droids are pretty close behind. He could have just used a saber, used force choke, got rid of her an easy way rather than just blasting her off into space and not seeing her die. Ooh, convenient. Oh man, wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what happens. BT and Trip scoop her up from space and she lives on. Of course. Well, Aphra goes back through her thoughts and pieces together that Luke and Vader are father and son. Now, the adventure is over. Vader is out of the picture. Aphra's decided, hey, I don't think I want a partner anytime soon. So the storytelling part is over. Aphra, she's just talking to a recording device, which the whole story that we just heard, for some reason, is for Sanastaros to discover once Aphra dies. Bunch of other little lovey-dovey crap that's said, and then it ends. So for my overall thoughts, the audio drama was done pretty well. I do have a lot of issues with it. I don't like the character Aphra. I don't like the fact that this was not an original story. Yeah, it had some original elements brought into it, but this is straight from the pages of the Star Wars comics. You have Star Wars, you have Dr. Aphra, you have Darth Vader, all of this stuff, not original. That sucks. I thought this was going to be something different, unique. It's not. We already know this story. Chelly Lona Aphra, don't like that character. She's too comical. Desperate attempts to make a female Han Solo / Indiana Jones character. I don't like her. Everything to her is a joke. Her outspoken sarcasm isn't funny. I found it annoying. She calls her elbow stupid and traitorous when she bumps into something. Like a terrible attempt at humor. But the audio drama itself was done good. The performances from all the voice actors, good job. You did well. I don't like the story. I don't like the character. I wish we had another original audio drama like we did with Dooku Jedi Lost. You know, Vader was not consistent. He's not who he is in the films. But, you know, like it says, it does clarify that Aphra just makes up stuff. She's a liar. We can't trust anything she says, which adds to that negative feeling that I have for the character. Can't trust her. So do I recommend that you listen to the Dr. Aphra audio drama? Actually, I'm conflicted by that, because I think everybody has different tastes, I know for sure, but if you read the comic, no, there is absolutely no reason for you to listen to this. If you have not read the comic and you still want to know a little bit more about Aphra, I guess so. I don't like it. For the rating, I am going to give this... See, this is where it gets difficult, because the audio drama performances and the way it's put together, the edits and all that stuff that gets a B. There are some negatives with the some of the editing that I did not like. There's a lot of awkward, weird pauses too, but that gets a B. A B for the performance and editing and all that stuff, but for the story, I give it an F. That's what I have to do. B for the performance and the edit, the way it was all put together, and an F for the story. Well, that'll do it for this video. Check me out at TheGeeksAttic.com and find me across all social media at TheGeeksAttic. Have a good one.